This will be the 8th grade Pythagorean theorems with squares, notes, and homework. Pretty much in this section, we are still dealing with the Pythagorean theorem, the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Whenever we were looking at a right triangle, what I need you guys to know, again, is that shortest side is going to be side A, mediumest side is going to be side B, and the longest side is going to be side C. One of the things that we've talked about, though, is this number right here, that 20 inches squared, is actually a squared. This 90 inches squared is actually b squared. They are already giving us these numbers. What we're trying to do now is solve for side C. So if I was going to use the Pythagorean theorem, I would have my a squared plus my b squared equals my c squared. Now, before I keep going, yes, they have all of this listed out for you right here. If you can't follow my notes, try using the notes that are already on here. So my a squared, we already have it. A squared is 20. It was given to us. There's nothing additional to square. B squared, we also have that. B squared is going to be 90, because that's what they gave us. And c squared, we don't have it. We still want to solve for c and for c squared. So at this stage, I'm going to add my 20 and my 90. So 90 plus 20 is going to be 110. And that is my c squared. So we know that the area, that c squared is the area of this entire rectangle right here. So we know that that is 110 inches squared. If I wanted just C, or if I wanted just A, or if I wanted just B, what I would do is I would take the square root of each of those numbers. So if I take the square root of 110, I would have a value of I'm going to round it a little bit, 10.5, meaning that C right here is 10.5. If I wanted just B, I would take the square root of 90. Giving me a value of 9.5 for B. For A, if I want just side A, I'm going to take the square root of 20. Giving me an approximate value of 4.5. So again, you've got to know whether you are working with a squared value or if you're working with a linear value. So we have A, B, and C. We also have A squared, B squared, and C squared. Now we're going to take a look at some of the examples as well. On this first example, they're having us solve for the missing side length, meaning that we are looking for this side right here. And judging by these sides, this is going to be side A. Right here, we are going to have side B. Right here is going to be our side C, assuming that this is a right angle right here. What they're giving me here is C squared. And right here they're giving me B squared. Again, they want us to solve for just the missing side length, which would be A, but we're going to solve for all three. So again, I'm going to use the same formula, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Some of these values I do and don't have, so A squared, we don't have anything with it yet. B squared, we already know, is 225. And the C squared is going to be 289. So because these two values are on the same side, and I can't do anything with A squared yet, I'm going to have to subtract B squared on both sides. So A squared is going to be that C squared, that 289, minus the 225. When I subtract these two, I get 64. So I know that A squared is 64. But I want just the A squared by itself, so I'm going to have to take the square root of 64 if I want to know what just the value of A is. So when I take the square root of 64, I get A is 8. So my missing side here is 8. Again, if I wanted just C, I would take the square root of that 289. So square root of 289 is 17. For B, I'm going to do the square root of 225. So square root of 225 is going to be 15. So now I have A, B, and C. On to the next example. So again, on this one, we are solving for the missing side length. So shortest length is going to be A. Longest length is, or mediumest length is going to be B, and longest length will be C. So there's my B, there's A, and here's C. So again, I'm going to use the exact same formula. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared we know is going to be 9. B squared we know that is 144. And C squared is what we're going to be solving for. So I have to add that 144 and the 9, and I get 153 is what my C squared is. So if I take the square root of 153, I will have C by itself. So the square root of 153 is kind of gross, so I'm going to round it just a little bit. We're going to call it 12.4. It's about what C is. And I meant to do that whole section in yellow, but time to pass on that. So C is going to be 12.4. Again, if I wanted B, I would take the square root of 144. And the square root of 144 is 12. For A, I would take the square root of 9. For A, the square root of 9 is 3. Final example, solving again for the missing side length. Kind of hard to tell what the shortest side here is, so I'm going to go with this one right here. I'm going to say this is A. And we're going to say this right here is B. Making this side C. So in this case, we're not having to use the squares and everything else. We're just going to plug right into the formula and do what we've done before. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I don't have a value for A, so I'm going to just plug in the A that I've got. So it's 19 squared plus my B, which we don't know yet, so we're going to keep it B squared. And C squared, we're going to do 30 squared. When I do 19 squared, I get 361. B squared we don't have yet. And 30 squared is going to be 900. Again, because I've got these two on the same side, I can't just add them. So in order to get B squared, I'm going to have to do 900 minus the 361. That will leave me with B squared. So 900 minus the 361 leaves me 539 for B squared. Again, I want just B by itself. Take the square root of 539. That will leave me with just B. So I'm going to do square root 539, and that comes out to 23, and I'm going to round it to 0.2. So that is my missing side on this one. If you have any questions on the notes, make sure you come to the tutorials so I can help you out. I'm not going to actually work through these for you, but I am going to help you get these things set up. So taking a look at number 1, here's going to be side A, here's side B, and here is side C. Again, we're solving for the missing side length, so we're going to be using A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Make sure that you know that you are plugging in the numbers that you've got. So A squared, we don't have anything for it yet, so it's just going to stay A squared. b squared, we have a value for it. That's what this is. So b squared is going to be that 100. And c squared is this value right here. So that 441. From there, I want you guys to solve that on your own. It's going to be the same thing on number 2. Here's my shortest length, the mediumest, and the longest. Making this side A, this side B, and this side C. Again, you're going to be using a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You have a value for a squared, which is 36. We don't have anything for b squared, so we're going to leave it b squared. And c squared, they give us a value of 100. Nothing additional to square there. They already gave it to us. Solve for b on that one. Pretty much all the homework problems follow the same pattern. If you do have questions, make sure you come to the tutorials and ask.